12 News breaking news now.
It's your Thursday morning. Thanks for waking up with us on 12 News Today in AZ. I'm Emma Jane.
I'm Allison Rodriguez, and we are getting to breaking news in Flagstaff. We've been following all night for you. We have just been able to confirm 2 members of the Arizona DPS air rescue team. They've died in a helicopter crash while assisting Flagstaff police with an active shooter situation.
We're coming on the air early this morning with team coverage for you. Our Maria Staubs and Troy Lynch, they are both joining us live from Flagstaff this morning. Troy, we're going to start with you. Where are you exactly, and what can you tell us about what led up to this deadly helicopter crash?
Yeah, Emma, Allison, good morning. Yeah, right behind me is where the deadly helicopter crash happened. Also, the shooting that Flagstaff police was involved with one of those suspects. So this is around the area, actually just a little over a mile away from Northern Arizona University. And the shooting specifically happened between Mark Lane and South Thompson Road in this area of Flagstaff right now. So according to DPS, 2 people are dead in this incident, and they are coming from this helicopter crew that was flying in to try to assist Flagstaff police in this shooting. So take a look behind me. You can see it's really not much right now. As you can see, DPS has closed off this road so that they can investigate. And so we know that the 2 people who are dead are the DPS helicopter pilot and paramedic that were on board. Now, they were flying in to assist Flagstaff police who were attempting to detain that suspect that turned into a shootout. And during this, the helicopter crashed. But what led up to this is still unclear. DPS saying that the suspect was shot multiple times by law enforcement and is in custody, but no officers were injured in this shootout. Now, DPS Major Incident Division is leading the investigation. We saw them actually just go in not that long ago, and officials they're not yet releasing the identities of this helicopter crew. Now, we are still trying to get more information from both Flagstaff police and DPS in this incident. And so we're waiting to hear more from a public information officer, which hopefully we can get an update from sometime soon. But we're live here in Flagstaff. Troy Lynch, 12 News Today in AZ.
Yeah, I mean, this happening late last night, and so certainly more answers hopefully to come a little bit later today. Thanks, Troy.
Now, we're also hearing from people in and around the neighborhood of where this all happened. 12 News journalist Maria Staubs, she joins us now live from Flagstaff as well.
Okay, so Maria, I mean, how did neighbors react to seeing this and hearing this?
And Emma, I'm sure you can imagine how shaken up they are after witnessing a massive police response right outside their homes and then seeing a deadly helicopter crash. Now, we spoke with a family right after that crash around 10:30 last night, and they told us what they saw. And at the time, the neighborhood was still on lockdown. Isaac Lenar says he was at a friend's house when his mom called him panicked because she heard gunshots. His brother Gabriel says he also heard multiple shots and police sirens near their home. You can see how active it is right in this video. Isaac says he rushed back and saw a large police presence, including SWAT units, and knew something serious was going on. The family says they were watching the helicopter in the air when it suddenly went down.
And the helicopter, you could see the propellers just completely stop, and you can see the light slowly come down and then just completely hit the floor, and you just hear a big boom. It's pretty devastating that one little fight can just turn into a whole mess, and it's pretty devastating that people lose their lives for stuff like this.
Isaac tells us the helicopter appeared to go down on a mountain near his neighborhood, close to the railroad tracks. And his brother Gabriel tells us that this is usually a quiet neighborhood, making this situation even more shocking. We're live in Flagstaff. Maria Staubs, Today in AZ.
All right, Maria, thank you so much.
It is 4:04 now. Let's get you caught up when you head out the door this morning. Here's what you need to know. Ginger, the question that we're all wondering, did we break a record yesterday?
Nope. We parked those numbers at 85 degrees as advertised. And now our temperatures are starting to go down and the clouds are starting to come in at 4:04. I imagine you're tucked into bed. 61 degrees outside right now. This is the way your day is going to map out. Now, we're still going for above normal highs. I mean, look at this. 60s and 70s days and are nice clear skies out there this morning. Clouds will start building in later today. And remember, we've got a little bit of moisture that's going to be pushing through primarily west of the valley. But temperature-wise, I still think we're going to get our numbers up to about 81 degrees. That's 11 degrees above normal. I mean, look across the state. These numbers continue to be far above where we typically are this time of the year. 73 in Tucson. I've got 81 today in Parker, 57 at the Grand Canyon, and right about 68 in Sedona. As far as the wind goes, now I'm surprised that the National Weather Service isn't putting out a high wind advisory, because I think that velocity is really going to pop at times. But the sustained winds should stay under 20 miles an hour today. Again, that's just going to allow a lot of this cloud cover in. Temperature-wise, though, hey, check this out. We've got temperatures hanging out in the 80s through the weekend, but that weather pattern shift is developing early part of next week. We will be getting some rain in the northern parts of the state. As far as it dropping into play in our neck of the woods, well, it's kind of an afterthought at this point. But of course, I'll keep you posted. Hey, Will, anybody on the roads this morning?
Not at 4 a.m., but most of our accidents and incidents are being outside of the valley. This is where that helicopter crash is happening in Flagstaff. Now, my maps don't go detailed enough to get quite onto it. This right here, though, is a railroad track. Lowell Observatory is right here. This is Mars Hill. NAU is down here. So if you're in that general area over here, this is going to cause a lot of problems. You're not going to get out of there for a little while. But again, I can't get quite in close enough to show you that. We do have a closure here. This is 89A, the road from Prescott Valley up to Jerome and into Cottonwood. This is apparently closed a very long way for a vehicle fire. Now this over here, that's not an accident. That's actually an indication of another plane crash. That plane crash actually happened somewhere up in here. They just put it down close to the intersection there. But this road closure on 89A right here, basically from viewpoint to, well, past Robert Road, but Robert Road is where you can get back on 89A and keep going into Prescott Valley. So that's also closed. We have one accident that is, well, it's way to the west. It's on I-10, 339th Avenue. It is an injury accident, so that's going to be around for a little while. But other than that, nothing actually in the valley. Everything else just seems to be outside of town right now.
All right, Will, thank you so much. Still ahead, the desperate search continues this morning for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. We have the latest on the investigation and a video released from Savannah and her siblings pleading for their mother's return. We're going to show it to you.
Also ahead, we are following, again, that tragic situation that happened in Flagstaff. A DPS helicopter providing air support for Flagstaff police ended up crashing, killing both people on board. We'll tell you what we know about the investigation, also about that police situation with Flagstaff police. We'll tell you how the agency is involved. All of that is still ahead. Stay with us.
I love preparing a user-friendly forecast to get you ready for the day. Whether it's tracking temperature swings from the high country into the valley or keeping you ahead of strong winds during monsoon, we've got you covered. Make the move to Arizona's top streaming newscast. Weekdays starting at 4:26 anywhere you watch.
All right, welcome back. We do continue to follow this breaking news of a deadly DPS plane crash, a helicopter crash in Flagstaff overnight. That chopper crashing just north of Route 66 between Thomas Street and Mark Lane.
So authorities say the crash was tied to an active shooter incident. DPS says one of its Ranger helicopters went down while providing tactical air support last night, killing both the pilot and a trooper-paramedic on board. Their names have not been released. Before the crash, officers shot and wounded the suspect, who is now in custody and is expected to survive. State investigators, along with the FAA, the NTSB, they are leading the investigation. We do have crews live at the scene of the shooting and where the helicopter went down. They're going to bring us the latest on this investigation. That's ahead at 4:30.
All right, it's 410 Arizona. I know it's early here, and as you start to make your plans for the day, meteorologist Shindra Jeffrey is going to help us out with that. You know what? The first thing I think when I see that, one, it is beautiful, but also, am I going to be sneezing? How's the pollen around here right now?
It's bad, especially with the wind as well. But I mean, hey, it is beautiful. Make some time to stop and smell the roses, albeit maybe making you sneeze or your nose drip as well. Take a look at your forecast highs today. Okay, a stark contrast, right? We are now starting to trend down. I warned you yesterday would be the warmest day of the week, but numbers still above normal. At least we're starting to get some 70s on the board. And the reason for this is because we're really going to start collecting some cloud cover out there afternoon into the evening hours. In fact, there's that kind of blurb on the radar. Doesn't look like measurable rainfall. It's just going to be a little bit of a moisture layer that's moving on through. We could pick up just some light sprinkles to the West Valley, but again, I don't think it's going to be much to write home about. Then more clouds on the horizon. We're starting to see the breakdown of high pressure. You can see some of this moisture pushing up from the south, and while I don't expect it to impact tournament play by way of precipitation, yes, we are going to see some wind. So let me map you through your winds today. Notice the brighter banding. That's where we're looking for those wind speeds, upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. For the valley, I think our winds are going to be under 10 miles an hour all day long. And again, the biggest impact is going to be the southeast corner. So we're kind of shifting gears out of the Kingman and Vegas realm down into Tucson, into Globe. That's where I'm going to look for the strongest winds. And I expect these winds to really be done by tomorrow morning. So your call on this Thursday, it is going to be clear, and then it's going to be cloudy. I'm still looking for those daytime highs to push up above the normal range. We're a far cry from the record, so that's not even on the table. And if you play along at home, you notice that our average high has now gone from 69 to 70. So yes, it begins. Our numbers are starting to warm up on average. Okay, tonight it's going to be mostly cloudy, dropping down to about 57 degrees. If we see any precip, I think it's going to stay out of the metro, along the rim, possibly into higher elevations. But again, it's such an afterthought at this point. By next week, that's when I think things are getting a little more interesting. I mean, look at this, 10% opportunity. That's just silliness. But we are starting to see much cooler conditions and healthier chances at rain developing by Tuesday next week. I mean, look at this, Flagstaff. Unfortunately, it's a little too warm to be snow, but certainly some moisture entering into the mix. For you and me, that's going to drop the numbers from, wow, 83 on Sunday down to 71 by Wednesday. Will?
All right, at 4:13, we're checking on a couple of accidents all around the valley. This one I mentioned just a minute ago. This is a road closure up north of Prescott Valley. This is 89A that goes from Prescott Valley up to Jerome area. This is closed for a car fire. It's a very long closure apparently, but it's closed. It has been closed for hours actually. This accident down here at 89 and 89A is not an accident. That's just an indicator of a plane crash that happened up here, and it happened late last night. So that's not actually impacting the roads, but it is there anyway. If I can get this to move forward, which apparently I cannot. Anybody? No? We're going to go forward? All right, my computer system's not going to move at all. So we're tracking that. There's a couple more accidents. There's one down on I-10 at 339th Avenue. And, oh, there we go. Now I can move in a little bit. There we go. So this road closure at 89A is from about Viewpoint to Robert Road. Then you can get back on 89A and go that way. Okay, now we can go forward to I-10, 339th Avenue. That's where this accident is. Not really causing a lot of problems, but it is there. Taking a look valley-wide, not a lot going on right now, obviously. It's 4:14. Nobody's on the roads right now, so your drive times are pretty green across the board, and your freeways are looking pretty empty right now.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
That was Savannah Guthrie and her siblings. They're pleading with any abductor to please provide evidence that their mother Nancy is still alive. That video just released yesterday on Savannah's Instagram. And at this time, the sheriff's department still has not named any suspects or people of interest in the case, though there are some unfounded rumors online that there is a person of interest, but they have confirmed there is not one yet. Now, 12 News journalist Chase Golightly, he's joining us outside Nancy Guthrie's Catalina Foothills home near Tucson, where she was reportedly taken against her will. Finding out, deputies actually went back to the home to investigate.
For the first time, we saw law enforcement placing crime scene tape all around Nancy Guthrie's home 4 days after she was last seen. Plainclothes investigators and the K-9 unit appearing to search in her backyard. For close to 2 hours, detectives were seen going in and out of the home, carrying large envelopes to their unmarked cars, going back in with backpacks in hand. Then at one point, they blocked our view from the backyard as more undercover vehicles arrived. A group of them then gathered together, appearing to look at something they got from the house, but our cameras weren't able to see what it was. Then they took down the caution tape and left. The Pima County Sheriff's Department saying on social media this was a follow-up they were conducting, but didn't specify what they were looking into. The department says they have received thousands of leads from the community, including previous crimes in the area, noting that in early January, there was a report of a possible trespassing near Guthrie's home, seeing if it may be connected to this. The Sheriff's Department says they're taking all of these tips seriously. The Sheriff's Department is holding another press conference later this morning. Of course, we'll be there to bring you the latest. We're in Tucson. Chase Golightly, 12 News Today in AZ.
Chase, thank you. And as the search continues, 12 News journalist Bram Resnick, he has more details on who Nancy Guthrie is and the life that her children built.
Nancy Guthrie has lived in this sprawling Tucson ranch home for more than 50 years. She and her husband, Charles Guthrie, moved the family in shortly after their return to the U.S. from Australia, where he was a mining engineer.
We were always close. After Savannah's dad died, the kids and us, we just gravitated toward one another. Don't you think?
I agree 100%.
Charles Guthrie's death from a heart attack in 1988 devastated the young family. Daughters Savannah and Annie, and son Cameron.
When my dad died, our whole family just hung on to each other for dear life because it was such a shock. We were just trying to figure out how to become a family of 4 when we had always been a family of 5.
Nancy Guthrie was a 46-year-old widow. Her college-age daughters made a pact to live at home while going to school.
Annie's like the blood going through my veins. She's my sister. She's always been there all my life.
Annie Guthrie is a poet, writing teacher, and jewelry designer, according to a biography on the University of Arizona Poetry Center page.
Her sorrows are my sorrows, and her successes are my successes.
Annie has made several appearances on the Today Show with sister Savannah. Their brother Cameron Guthrie is a retired F-16 pilot. Savannah and the Guthrie family celebrated his last military flight in 2018 in a series of Instagram posts. Quote, "He is the pride of our family and one of the country's finest."
And of course, there are lots of questions that still need to be answered as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues. It's a developing situation, so if you want to make sure that you are in the know, download 12 Plus on your TV for any breaking updates in this investigation.
Well, Salt River Police, they're investigating a disturbing incident that happened at Great Wolf Lodge in Scottsdale. A lifeguard accused of molesting multiple children at the resort's indoor water park. The resort calling police January 31st when a parent came forward saying she saw the lifeguard, identified as 19-year-old Edwin Lechuga, inappropriately touch a girl. That same parent reported her son was sexually assaulted as well. Police are saying surveillance footage backs up those allegations. LeChuga is in jail now, charged with 2 counts of child molestation. Great Wolf Lodge telling 12 News they take any allegation extremely seriously and that nothing is more important than the safety of their guests.
Buckeye PD wants to hear your thoughts on electric bike and scooter safety. So the department is asking residents to complete a survey by March 1st. The survey includes questions about proposed age limits, safety gear requirements. The responses will be shared with city leaders who will determine what changes are necessary.
A new report showing electric vehicle sales spiked before a federal tax credit expired last year. That report is coming from Alliance for Automotive Innovation, and it's showing 39 states saw increases in EV registrations during the 3rd quarter of last year. Now, the first day of the 4th quarter of last year, that's when a $7,500 tax credit for hybrids and EVs expired.
An Arizona congressman is asking Homeland Security to address concerns about that massive warehouse in Surprise purchased by Homeland Security last week. Congressman Paul Gosar, a Republican, says in a letter to the agency that while he supports adding space for immigrant detainees, there are legitimate questions for residents, for schools, first responders, and local governments about the site. Gosar says Homeland Security has not coordinated with local officials.
Well, meantime, the agency's Secretary Kristi Noem made a visit to the Arizona-Mexico border just yesterday to promote the president's hardline immigration policy.
Our 12 News journalist Joe Dana, he was there, says the secretary is also reminding everyone about the risks that Border Patrol agents face.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's visit comes as she is under heavy scrutiny from several judges across the country, ruling on cases involving Homeland Security under her direction, and criticism from Democratic members of Congress. Standing next to a segment of border wall the Trump administration completed last year, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem checked off a list of accomplishments: a drop in illegal fentanyl smuggling, a 50-year low in encounters between the U.S. Border Patrol and immigrants on the Mexican border, and the ongoing construction of wall where gaps remain.
We have to continue to keep ramping up our efforts and do all that we can.
The border's the most secure it's ever been. We're not done yet. We're going to continue getting there. And under the leadership that we have in this president and Secretary Noem, she hears you.
Noem is also under heavy criticism. A series of rulings accuse ICE of violating the civil rights of both citizens and immigrants. On Tuesday, emotional testimony from one woman caught up in an ICE operation and detained.
The impacts of DHS detention on my physical, mental, and financial well-being and safety have been very severe, but I do not deserve more humane treatment than anyone else, U.S. citizen or not.
Just last week, the majority of Democrats in the House, including 2 from Arizona, signed 3 articles of impeachment against Noem. As the Trump administration says they will scale back tactics, Noem says ICE agents will now wear body cameras. No mention of that today, but she said more resources are coming.
And we're thankful for President Trump's vision to invest in technology, invest in people. You have stood up and stood on the line to make sure that we have freedom and liberty for our children and our grandchildren.
Secretary Noem also took the opportunity to honor 3 members of the Border Patrol, 2 who helped rescue victims of a fiery car crash, and another Border Patrol agent who stopped a gunman in a confrontation with law enforcement. At the border near Nogales, Joe Dana, 12 News.
Joe, thank you. Well, in your consumer headlines, Pizza Hut closing hundreds of locations across the country. This is due to declining sales. In an earnings call, parent company Yum Brands said it's closing 250 Pizza Huts that have been underperforming. So that amounts to about 3% of the chain's locations nationwide. Pizza Hut has struggled lately, especially against its biggest rival, Domino's. Yum Brands said in November it was considering various options for the chain, including possible sale.
All right, so we are 1 day away from the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, and you can watch all of the action with us right here on 12 News.
Not all Olympians get to be full-time athletes. In fact, very few. If you ask an Olympic athlete what their day job is, they'll likely tell you they just work a 9 to 5. In fact, Will Pitts was training for, what was it?
Curling.
Oh, I thought it was luge.
Oh, the luge?
One of the 2. That's the case for Team USA's mixed doubles curling team, though. Alicia Lewis walks us through a day in the life.
Not far from the shores of Lake Superior in Duluth, Minnesota.
These lovely steps. We gotta paint these now, too.
you'll find Olympic curler Corey
try to
Dropkick
clean it up
sweeping
and
something other than ice.
doing some painting around the deck today.
Corey already punching his ticket to the Winter Olympics.
I've always got something to get done.
Still needs to punch the clock to pay his bills.
I have 2 full-time jobs. One is curling. Doesn't pay as well as my other job is a realtor.
When Corey isn't selling houses or making repairs to his own, you can find him here at the Duluth Curling Club.
Moving to Minnesota was kind of like there wasn't really much of an option. It was just like, okay, if I want to pursue my dreams, if I want to be an Olympian, I need to live in Duluth.
Now that dream has become a reality for this realtor and his Duluth native curling partner, Corey TC.
I started when I was 8 years old, so my parents both curl, so I just grew up here at the curling club. My mom actually played competitively when I was younger.
Following in her mom's footsteps, both in curling
This is my mom.
and working here.
I actually work for a company that does mercury testing in wastewater, so making sure that the water is at a low enough level of mercury before it gets put back out into the lakes and streams.
Working alongside her mom, who just so happens to be her boss.
I give her a lot of time off.
That really is helpful for getting time off to go compete, and I just feel really grateful to have a job that pays the bills while I'm able to go and compete in curling.
Today, both Coreys are less focused on their 9-to-5s and more focused on the ultimate prize.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. This is what we work towards every single day. This is what we've been dreaming of since we were little kids.
To finally have it come true and to be able to experience the Olympic experience and play for the Olympic gold and pour my whole heart out on the ice is going to be such a cool opportunity.
News and NBC News are your all-access pass to the Winter Olympics.
Already buzzing with excitement.
We're live in Milan with the athletes chasing gold and cheering on Team USA right here on 12 News.
I'm Emma Jade, morning anchor on 12 News and Mesa Local. Our family has lived here for 5 generations. And as a busy working mom, I know it's important to prepare you for the day ahead with the latest headlines. Whether it's diving into the issues with our school funding or breaking news from across the valley, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to the Valley's top streaming newscast on 12 News.